Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Agoracom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out big news. And guys, right before Christmas, if you love junior resources companies that are transitioning from exploration to production, Ubique is exactly what you've been waiting for, what you've been looking for, because they've got big plans to become a fully operating mining outfit. How are they going to do that? They've just pulled off a major acquisition that's going to bring production, revenue, and free cash flow in 2023. They're doing it via $20 million US acquisition of a company in Namibia. This mine that's there has potential for $10 to $30 million in annual cash flows. It's a lead zinc mine that was operating until April 2020 very successfully, but the pandemic came in, COVID-19 safety concerns shut it down, and the experienced management team at Ubique identified this valuable asset and grabbed it. It's got a mineral resource statement that was updated in 2017. Here's some of the numbers. Indicated 710,000 tons, grading over 7% zinc, 2+%, 2.4% lead, 50 grams per ton of silver, and then inferred another 410,000 tons. I'm just kind of rounding off there. The project is maintained in a ready to restart status, which is great. And the press release we're talking about, Ubique receives Namibian government approval for the acquisition. Vil, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you very much. Nice to be back.
Hey, this is a great Christmas present for Ubique shareholders. Before we get into the details, just big picture, Vil, how happy are you and how happy should shareholders of Ubique be today?
Well, I'm extremely happy, and it's been a long journey, and it's a big transaction, and it's been a very detailed due diligence process of the whole thing. And we're very glad because the approval that we got now from the Namibian Competitions Committee was unconditional, and it's the final government rubber stamp that we need for the transaction. So upwards and onwards, now it's us to get our own shareholders' approval on our AGM on the 30th of December. We already have a firm commitment from majority of the shareholders, so we can almost back that in. And so now it's just tidying the house and closing the transaction on the first quarter of next year and get moving.
For a lot of people who are new to the story, especially a lot of fans that you have from previous companies you've been running, and you've done some great work there. I gave some numbers as far as the mineral resource statement and indicated and inferred numbers, but give us maybe even if you can a little more flavor on how big of a project this is and why it's going to be so great.
Well, it's a huge project for a small mining exploration company. It might not be the biggest on a global scale, but we've got very much good belief that we can increase the amount of materials there and extend the life of mine considerably. Hence, we look at this as a great opportunity. We know that just on the current resource, the mine is very profitable, especially under the current price of zinc, lead, and silver. The market for these commodities has been strong, and it's forecasted to be strong in the year 2023 and onwards. So we are very confident that we've done a great deal here for our shareholders, and look forward to getting it back into operation.
In a previous interview, in our last interview, you said it's got the potential for between $10 to $30 million in annual cash flow. Do you still feel the same way, or those numbers still seem really reasonable and within reach?
Yeah, there seems to be within reach. Of course, we have to pray to something bigger out there for the commodity prices. We can always be surprised, but today, yes, we are looking at this to be a very profitable outfit. And prior to its shutdown, it's very important to know that the mine was shut down because of COVID, not because it was badly run.
Right.
It had some teething problems. Originally, they changed teams shortly before it closed, and that team actually achieved to run it on full production and run it profitably. Therefore, what we've done is we've secured some of the key people that was there previously. We've got the previous CEO in our board of directors. We got the previous CFO. We got the previous COO.
Excellent.
So there will be complete continuity of the people there and running the show. The mine and the equipment has been on turnkey care and maintenance, which means that, you know, in theory, we could go there as soon as we get the keys to the mine and start it up to mine. What we want to do is we want to do a little bit of advancement to the mill and the processing plant to increase its profitability. And this is all what the previous management had set out and put up as a wish list. So we just want to do it well and get it into action.
You've said in a previous press release, or in this one too, it's been maintained in a ready to restart status, and you just kind of refer to that now. Sometimes we hear about these deals. George Calm Mining picks up a previous mine, and but it takes years to get it regoing. You're not years away. You're a couple quarters away, right?
Oh yeah, this mine was built in 2019 and 2020, so or 18 and 20, and operated until April 2020. So it's all fairly new. All the equipment is there. What we are doing is we're doing it better. We're just making it. We're doing everything that the previous management wanted to do before they shut down. And so we have high hopes to have a relatively smooth ramp up and smooth operation once everything gets going.
Ballpark, I know I can't pin you down to exact time naturally, and you'd be foolish to give us an exact time, but ballpark, what kind of timeline should investors look for potentially for restarting, being in full production?
So we're aiming at closing the transaction in Q1, so I would say in a Q3 we would see the first concentrate being shipped out from the mine.
Okay, that's this is almost too good to be true, Phil. If we didn't know, you would think there's something up, but you've always been a consummate professional. You got an incredible team, and you guys have made an incredible acquisition here, so I don't doubt it for a second. And more importantly, not more importantly, but you guys are putting your money where your mouth is, because management, yourself, you guys have actually been buying stock in the company, right?
Yeah, we both took, me personally, I took part in the private placement that just took place, and our biggest shareholders did. Our chairman, who sadly passed away last couple of weeks ago, took part, and so it just shows the management belief in the project. Both the management and the largest shareholders all took part in the last private placement.
And I think shareholders should take note of that, because in this year, 2022, that's been very difficult for most of the small cap market, and prices have come way down. You guys done the opposite, by the way. You're up, I don't know, 550% since you took over. But a lot of times you hear shareholders saying, how come George of George Calm Industries isn't buying his stock here if it's so cheap? And you don't see management participating in private placements, doing anything meaningful. The fact that you guys, I just want to make note of that for everybody. The fact that you guys, Phil, are putting your money where your mouth is really important, especially during these times. Let's talk about funding. You know, no matter what, you're still going to need some money behind you. There's always the threat of, you know, dilutive financing. What does your funding look like, especially in this tough environment? And what are you guys aiming to complete there?
Well, we did a small private placement now, and we're looking at a few options. And the good thing, which we look very positively on, is when we started doing this, we looked at doing it in a very conventional way of just raising money in the market and etc. But we probably will deviate a little bit about that, and we're looking at maybe further debt funding, which is very suitable for a project like this,
right?
As it will reduce the shareholders' dilution, and therefore, because we are very shortly into production, which means and we're in advanced talks with offtake partners, so we know that all our material will be sold, and we are in a prime position to get an affordable debt, and which is always the cheapest way forward for a company. I mean, we always look at the private placement and equity placements being the most expensive money. Of course, so doing more debt than less equity is more in favor to our shareholders.
And that's another great sign, right, Vil? Because 2022 has been very difficult for small cap companies to raise fund in any way, whether it's debt, equity, flow through, whatever vehicles are out there. It's been very tough, but it sounds like from what you're saying, you have a high degree of confidence that you're going to be able to get the right kind of funding, the right amounts of what you need.
Yeah, and the good thing here is like I say, we can a little bit control the time frame. We're not at the gunpoint doing anything, so that gives us a bit of an edge.
Let's move into everything. Looks like you got your ducks in a row. You've got your AGM on December 30th. You don't foresee any issues there. The CSC has to get done. They have to approve it. We don't foresee any issues there. So assuming everything moves along nicely and you start pouring concentrate and all that, how does the outlook look for the zinc market? Because you said earlier, no matter what, all commodities companies are beholden to the prices of the commodities. Zinc looks very strong. How's the outlook look for 2023, not just in terms of price, but macro demand, supply demand, all those kind of factors?
Well, there's been a deficit of zinc in the market, and there's not a lot of zinc available. And hence, that's why we look very favorably on the future of the zinc. And with China opening up and etc. after their fixed COVID restrictions, we feel very upbeat and confident with the zinc price. I mean, the zinc price went up about 10% over the last couple of weeks. It retreated a little bit at the moment, but it shows the trend is rather upwards and downwards. And if we look at it like 8 years back and a few years in the front, if we take the mean average of that and how it's all been going, we feel quite optimistic that we'll be in the right ballpark for a very positive commodity prices. But
it's not just 2023. Obviously, this mine is going to be producing for quite a while. What does the zinc macro demand situation look like for the foreseeable future? Does it have do you have any concerns about 2024, 25, 26, or is it all looking pretty positive?
As far as we can see, and the reports that we've been doing our due diligence based on, it looks very much in favor of us. It's very positive.
That's I just wanted it's one thing for me to say it. I want everyone to hear it from you, and obviously you guys do due diligence, and even your funders, everybody. So you've got to. But I want to ask that question nonetheless. Last question I have for you is: you also have your Newfoundland project, the Daniels Harbor. We've talked about that in the past. I don't want to forget about it. Maybe you just want to give us a quick update there on what the status is and what next steps might be there, or maybe you're going to be focusing all on Namibia now, but I want to air that with you.
No. So what we'll be doing is we'll be continuing our exploration activities on the Daniels Harbor, and we very much want to continue that, and because now also with the technical team and the experience that we are getting in-house into Ubique with the Namibian project, there's nothing saying that we can't make Daniels Harbor a small little zinc outfit. So it actually just gives us more confidence and in building up our universal and international technical team to advance that project. So that's working in our favor. And it's worth also mentioning the R500 investment that we did in Namibia. They're advancing on their projects, even though we sit there on the sideline. But so we are looking at other opportunities in the sector. So so keep posted.
Well, I've got to figure if you're able to pull off this major acquisition, which I think is an incredible acquisition especially for a company of your size, and you're able to wrap it all up and get the funding in, you're probably going to have a big enough of a following out there on the funding institutional side, the world of zinc, where you might become the go-to at some point, where George Calm has a zinc project, but I can't get it going. I don't have the right structure. I don't have the right financing place. And, I start calling Vil. Do you foresee that kind of situation occurring in 2023, where you start getting some phone calls from companies that are short resources, have great projects, but just can't get there, and they need a good partner or an acquisition?
Well, that's already happening, but the main thing is, of course, and what I've always said is a lot of exploration companies have this problem. They can do the exploration, they can do the reports, but they have no capabilities of going any further. And usually they don't want to go any further. That's the case in probably 9% of them. They want to then sell it and move it on. However, my background and our background here with the Ubique team is technical. So we understand the processing, we understand the mining factor. And hence, that's why we can take these projects from the discovery point and into production. And I think that's very important. And we'll show the world that we can.
And let's talk about that as our last point here, that, I'm sure a lot of people in the world knew that this project was, this company is up for grabs and so on and so forth. But you guys were able to identify the project, do due diligence, because you have such a great team, and make that acquisition decision when others couldn't or weren't able to. What does that say about, your team?
Well, I mean, we were in competitions with others about acquiring the mine, and it was quite stringent process, and we had to go through a very thorough due diligence from our vendor, which is it's a $21 billion fund from the US. So they take no bullshit. It's professional guys, and so for us it's an honor to have been chosen to lead the project. And also, if we look at how the structure of the acquisition is, they've basically taken a decision to take part of it with us and take part in the journey, and for that we're very grateful.
Last word to you, Vil, is December 19th. You've just put a really nice present in everyone's stockings. I think when the AGM makes it official, I think that'll be the New Year's gift for everybody, because I don't want to call it Christmas gift yet. It's not officially wrapped up, but it's almost there. What final word do you want to say to your shareholders and new people who, because again, you have a big following, you have a lot of people out there who really respect what you do, and maybe they're not in Ubique yet. What's that message you want to get out to everybody?
Well, I just want to, first of all, thank all the shareholders and all the stakeholders of Ubique for the ongoing support. And it's been very valuable through the turmoil times over the last month in this 2022, which has been a very difficult year in the market. But I think the message that I want to get across is that we think about our shareholders and our shareholders' value. And I think we've shown that as a team that's where we go. And we're not the lifestyle company. We do deliver and we create value, and we're going to extract some beautiful shiny metals out of the ground next year.
I love it, Vil. Love the smile on your face, my friend. Listen, as a shareholder myself, I think I speak on behalf of everyone where I say congratulations, thank you, looking forward to this getting all finalized, with the I's getting dotted and T's getting crossed in the next 2-3 weeks, and obviously we'll have you back then. But in the meantime, thanks for giving us all a great early Christmas gift, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas to your family as well, my friend.
Thank you, George, and the same to you. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform, to Vil Williamson. He's a CEO at Ubique Minerals, trades in Canada under UBQ. For those new to the story, and I think that's going to be a lot of you, because this is getting a lot of attention and you want to get caught up, you've watched this or you've heard this, you want to do a little more due diligence, get to the company's profile page on Agoracom. We've got all neatly laid out there for you, so you get a really good 1,000-foot view of the company. And then when you got that under your belt, head over to the Ubique website, do your deep dive due diligence. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time. Hey guys, the video's over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and even leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our YouTube channel so you never miss another great Agoracom small cap video.